Story summary continues. Go and watch the first 2 episodes. In the hours after what happened at the LGD HQ, the Battle of Lungmen has entered its final phase. Rhodes Island and the LGD are busy with searching and destroying the reunion forces within the city. Blaze is not happy about the fact that Lungmen uses the infected to fight the infected, but nonetheless she cuts through the retreating reunion groups she encounters. And she doesn't even use her chainsaw. You and Amiya get to her at some point. Blaze is rather happy about seeing Amiya, yet that changes when she sees someone else, Rhodes Island operator Greythroat, who also is there. Blaze threatens the operator to kill her if she ever talks about infected like that in front of her again, and walks off. Amiya has a special task for you. Look after Blaze, especially her psychology. All of this is taking a very heavy toll on her. Chief Wei is talking to someone. He says that Lin Korjui might be opposed, but it doesn't matter. Everything will go through his daughter. After talking, he gets a flashback. Someone is talking to him. We are brothers, of sorts. That person asks Wei to take care of his daughter and his wife, who is Wei's sister. He also says that he decided on a name for that daughter. Tallulah. A girl called Rosmontis walks through Rhodes Island. She wants Blaze to repair a recorder which she uses to store 6 years worth of her memories. Blaze tells her not to cry, Scout or Closure will fix it for her. Speaking of that, Scout appears beside them. Apparently he was standing there the entire time. He asks Rosmontis to go to Closure. He has to prepare for the next mission. Ace enters and says what mission it is. The one to save you, the doctor. Blaze wonders if you are really worth it, and Ace says that the doctor is worth at least as much as Amiya or Kalcit. Blaze also asks Ace about an operator in his squad, someone called Greythroat, who gave some very questionable views on the infected right in front of her. He explains that she is a very good person and just doesn't know how to express herself. This was before the Chernobog incident. Blaze remembered that one scene when walking through Lungmen. She thinks about Greythroat. Ace, was it worth training her? How much trust did we earn? You reach Blaze and you talk for a bit. The two of you see a reunion squad and an LGD unit fight each other. You have to move fast. You jump onto her back and ride her into battle. She beats those enemies up and contacts Rhodes Island in order for them to come and arrest them. The LGD members she just saved point their crossbows at her. They seemingly don't know how to deal with an infected. She gives you another piggy ride and you two leave the area. Swire and Chen are leading the LGD side by side. They might occasionally argue with each other, however, their coordination between them is perfect. At some point, Chen notices that she lost contact to one of her spies. That spy is an infected, but she definitely has not turned on them. Swire thinks she knows who that spy might be. Mephisto is losing it. Faust notices that Mephisto's team is even more riled up than usual. They seem to be in pain. Mephisto says that the battle is lost and they somehow have to get to the escape tunnels. Frost Nova won't help them, he says. He will show the LGD something far more terrifying than an army. They will pay for their atrocities, he says, and Chen will pay for hurting Faust. He calls upon his herd, telling them to go forth, give in to their impulses, and spread their seed. And they go absolutely ham on everything they see. Their first victims, the other reunion members in the area. Mephisto says that they will completely consume Lungmen. If his people can't have the city, he won't let the Lungmenites have it. Now he tells Faust that they can leave. He just stares at him, saying, "What have you done?" and leaves his side. Faust and his phantom crossbow men make their way through the city in order to save as many reunion members as possible from Mephisto's herd. One saved reunion member explains that the herd takes people with them and afterwards those people turn into herd members. Their numbers grow and grow. He keeps taking care of reunion members and then, "Drop your weapon," says Greythroat, who confronts him. He disappears using his camouflage arts. Graveroad tells him that they don't have to fight. She saw him running around and saving his people instead of hunting down LGD members. She offers to cooperate in countering the herd. He calls her naive and leaves, telling her not to follow him. The LGD is having a horrible time. The herd is literally tearing them apart. As they are falling back, 3 unknown people in red robes appear all over the city. They take command of LGD units, help them in combat, and remind them that if any commoners get harmed, they will all lose their jobs. One of them also wants to know from the officers who those weird people in black coats are. As Swire and Chen fight side by side and argue, one officer gets to the latter one, telling her of multiple unconfirmed reports about weird individuals wearing black coats who fight Reunion. She doesn't really believe any of that. Graveroad sees one of those people. The person talks like a robot. He reports to somebody that 2 sectors have successfully been purged of infected. Then he sees a group of Reunion members being chased by herd members. 44 individuals in total. He wipes them out within minutes. It's hard to say what Graveroad thinks when seeing this. What's left of Reunion in Lunkmen is either hiding or fleeing. Somewhere in the city, one guy asks a woman next to him, a Lunkman infected, about what she thinks. If Reunion never came here, would she still be able to live a normal life? She says no. The infected purge was always gonna come. They talk for a bit until she notices a flame outside her window. She says that it's not a natural flame. It's spreading way too quickly. It doesn't spread like a true flame. The guy is gonna get out of here. He offers her to come with Reunion and leave Lungmen. Chen notices that the number of herd members is sharply going down. She has now entered the slums and the situation here is not what she expected at all. There are no traces of Reunion to be found. Instead, she sees a black cloak guy who disappears before she can confront him. A report comes in. Not a single Reunion member is left in this area. She remembers something. When they were fighting Reunion, she heard a deafening sound from this area, and now most of the residents of the area have vanished, although there never was a plan to evacuate the area. The black cloak guy calls her very perceptive. Chen tells her men to go and find Swire. She threatens to arrest him in the name of the LGD. He says that having to wipe out the LGD would not be very good for Lungmen. She wants to know what happened to the residents of this district. He tells her to just focus on her duties and not investigate any further. He will now go to Chief Wei. Swire gets here asking who he is. Chen says that he's a part of Lungmen's special forces, and it's possible that the residents of this area are piled up somewhere in a mass grave. She accuses Swire of knowing what's going on, and if not her, then her grandfather will know. She says that that's not true. She knows who might know something though. Lin Korjui. She will now make a phone call. She angrily walks to her men, telling them to bring her to her. The pink-haired Sua scum. Nobody knows what she's talking about. She gives them a phone number to dial. A woman picks up. Their conversation abridged. What have you done, you filthy rat? And why do you suspect me? I'm glad it wasn't you. Wait, suspect you of what? If you're talking about the special forces, that was me. Swire hopes that she misheard. Wei Yanwu has you to keep order in Lungmen, and we are here to remove that which Lungmen does not need. Swire is in disbelief. She tries to confront her, but the woman explains that Swire doesn't understand. In short, don't go looking into the sewers. And she hangs up on her. The woman's name is Lin Yuxia. She thinks about what to do if Chen gets involved. She asks herself what her father would do. Faust and his men get back to Mephisto. He says that at this point his herd was completely decimated by those guys in black raincoats. The only ones who really suffered from Mephisto's decision was Reunion itself. Mephisto doesn't care about that last part. He's just glad that Faust had rescued that many Reunion members. They now can put up a good fight against the LGD. Faust orders his men to take him. Crown Slayer is walking through the other side of the slums. She talks to a couple of her men. They are traumatized, crying, telling her that there are monsters here, hunting them. She smells a weird smell and hears an inhuman laugh, but she can't leave now. Tallulah told her that the traitor is in Lungmen. She has to kill her. Amir is contacting all the elite operators in Lungmen to get ready for the first and last large-scale battle. They should remember though that their mission also is to reduce the friction between infected and uninfected. Go into battle with responsibilities on our shoulders. Blaze wishes she had killed Mephisto back on that rooftop. Amir contacts her. If you don't get your butt to the ambush point, I'll take all of last year's disciplinary reports and hand them over to Dr. Kalzit. Amir is also not really happy about the fact that Blaze is carrying you on her back. She asks whether you two are getting along well. Blaze does not know what to say and Amir hangs up. She knows that she will be in trouble. You two get going. Chen talks with Swire. Chen says that they will let a small group of reunion forces go into the slums so that they can track them. With the LGD there, the special forces can't act openly. They are the only group who can stand up to them. She is also ready to take the responsibilities for that decision in front of Lungmen's leadership. She contacts Amir, who reports that everybody is in position. Chen apologizes for Reunion scooping up all of Lungmen's infected. Amir says that there is nothing wrong with that on a strategical level, she just can't condone it on a personal level. She hopes that Chen will one day understand why the infected and uninfected of Rhodes Island fight side by side. Faust leads a huge group of people through the slums. The pressure their enemies apply is awful though. He tells the Phantom Crossbowmen to push on, together with Mephisto. He and a couple of others will gather herd members they have with them so that they can cover their escape. His men realize that they won't see him again. The LGD and Graveroad get there and continue their attack. Faust tells his men that Frostnova is on her way. Once she's there, they're under her command. He wants them to retreat and bring Mephisto out of here, but he does not want them to go back to Chernobog. Faust gets ready. Mephisto says that he can't do this. Faust has one last wish. He tells Mephisto, don't die. And so, Faust makes his last stand. Graveroad retrieves his crossbow. With it, she goes back to Amir. She tells her that she used to think that Rhodes Island fights for the infected, but now she sees all the dead people at her feet. All of them are infected. Amir, why does Rhodes Island fight? Blaze gets angry at her for asking that now, but Amir really wants to answer her. It's just, she herself doesn't have an answer. She in the end replies by saying that they fight the source of all that death, the hatred between the infected and uninfected, with medicine and with operations. As Graveroad leaves, Blaze tells Amir that she doesn't like that bird. Amir explains that Graveroad's parents were horripathy researchers, doing a lot of work for the infected. They died in a clash between infected and police. Because of that, she sees the struggle of the infected as her own. She just really doesn't know how to express herself. Blaze asks how she was supposed to know that. Graveroad is standing around with Faust's crossbow. Was he your friend? A red robe guy says. It's dangerous to be friends with infected. She replies by saying that she doesn't care if her friends are sick or not. Amir gets a call from Gaviel. Gaviel is in a passage under the slums. Something about people with black raincoats and about the Yeti squad forming up with Reunion's remains. Blaze says that the worst is yet to come. Time for a flashback. 14 hours before what happened at the LGD HQ, the Rhodes Island aircraft Bad Guy is carrying 14 people above the Chernobog sub-city, including its pilot and elite operator Blaze. She is getting ready to jump. Suddenly, they get a call from Swire, a very loud call. She promises that she's not like Chen, she will actually help. The pilot asks Blaze to talk to her, and so she jumps while throwing a loud mwah. Frostleaf's body temperature is even lower than usual. You and Amir apply some bandages on her. Jessica reports, the Yeti squad is approaching. Your operators need around 15 more minutes in order to clear the debris blocking your way and break out. You can't use explosives for that because of the substructures of the city. You get ready to hold the line. Suddenly, a voice comes from the elite operator channel of your comms. Amir, are you there? Everybody recognizes this voice, and not everybody is happy about who is about to arrive soon. Amir asks her where she is. Right above you. Around 200 meters are left before her impact. The realization of what that means hits everybody. Amir gives you some advice for handling Blaze. No matter what she says, just nod. The Yetis see a strong impact. Something landed. Or somebody? Frost Nova tells them to be careful. She feels Blaze's temperature arts. You're after my buddies, says the elite operator. I'm going to have to put a stop to that. She's looking forward to fight Frost Nova. They fight, and Blaze is impressed. They have some moves, she says when Amir gets to her. Blaze's warmth has kept Frost Nova's cold in check. She wants to know why Frost Nova isn't using lethal arts. Then she sees her coughing. She sees that she is in pain. That's the reason. The Yetis get to her and help her with keeping up. They call her their sister. Blaze suggests to her that they shouldn't fight. Keep using those arts and you die. She should come to Rhodes Island instead. Frost Nova says that she doesn't need pity, but Blaze explains to her that that's not pity, that's respect. The Yetis also tell her to stop it, but she says that she has to keep fighting, because otherwise Rhodes Island will help with fighting Reunion's forces in Lungmen. She starts to sing again. The temperature drops rapidly again. This time that causes the substructures to substantially weaken. The plates start to tilt. The Yetis try to hold their sister, but it's too late. Your group starts to hear cracks from below. The whole district is sinking. It's collapsing. Everybody tries to get to the stable areas. Only one person is too slow. You. Amir tries to get to you, but Blaze holds her and tells you to grab a lamppost or something. But the collapse is way too fast. Blaze gives Amir to Meteorite and tries to save you. She uses airflow and pressure arts to slow your fall and push away the debris that's falling towards you. The Yetis get to Rhodes Island. There is no combat. Frost Nova and you fell down. They want a temporary armistice with Rhodes Island. They never really wanted to fight you to begin with. Frost Nova just insisted on neutralizing you because Mephisto made her believe that Amir killed Skullshatterer. Amir reconfirms that she in fact did kill Skullshatterer. She apologizes though. They want a ceasefire anyway. The reason? Both groups are led by bunny girls and they both have people down there who they want to get out. Everybody starts digging. Back in the present, Chen is leading the LGD through the slums. She knows the area rather well. Her men report that Reunion seems to have a commander again and their communication is encrypted again. She gets a transmission. It's one of her informants called Only One, the one to who she lost contact earlier. She reports that the Yeti squad has entered the battle. They are capable of collapsing buildings and destroying infrastructure. She also says that she was thinking about things and has found an answer for herself. I'm leaving Lungmen to you. She doesn't feel like she belongs here. She will take some of Lungmen's infected and leave. The city doesn't care about them and can't protect them. Chen shouts, "Nine, you're under orders!" But Nine says that she hasn't been with the LGD for 3 years. And actually, it was me giving orders to you. She also says that she thinks she has seen the special forces. I thought too much of this city. Goodbye, Chen. She also tells her to not check on the sewers. Swire enters and tells Chen that she was pretty loud. She asks her to take a seat as she was just about to call that stinky sewer rat again. Chen asks whether she knows Lin, the one who rules the slums. She does, and she knows him as a very nice old man. She did not think that his daughter would turn out like that. Chen has an idea. They should steer the raincoats into the newly arrived Reunion forces. With Lin Yushia's help, they can guide them into Reunion. Swire calls her telling her that there's a reunion unit they can't hold. They need their help. She doesn't believe it. Swire starts a big speech about how her father made the slums what they are and stuff, and about how it can be rebuilt and turned into districts 22 to 29. Lynn tells Swire that she has become just as boring as Chen and asks about where that reunion unit is. The Yetis fight against the Raincoats, and the latter ones fall back, which allows many people to run. They know that they won't be able to hold out for very long though. Faust's people report to Frostnova. Coughing, she recognizes them and then sees Mephisto. They explain that his psyche has taken some serious hits. They also tell her about what happened to Faust. The Phantom Crossbowmen and the Yetis unite under Frostnova's command. Together, they want to allow as many people as possible to evacuate. Frostnova makes sure that uninfected civilians who got caught up in this will also be able to leave, because it's very apparent that the Raincoats are killing indiscriminately. They fight and take care of waves after waves of attacking LGD members. It's taking an insane toll on Frostnova though. The Raincoats attack again. Frostnova uses her arts to weaken the superstructure, and they successfully push the Raincoats back. The reunion members there realize though Frostnova doesn't have much time left. Graveroad finds an infected kid somewhere. She doesn't speak their language, but tells them that they are safe. She also tells the reunion member hidden behind the kid to come out. She tells him that if you use kids as bait, you deserve to die. The guy says that even if he dies, that won't save the kids. The Raincoats will kill everyone. He refuses to be taken in, and Graveroad has to fight. A bit later, she wakes up. Blaze is applying bandages to her. Graveroad wants to know what happened to the kids, but Blaze wants to tell her something else. She completely misjudged her multiple times. She is very sorry for that. Graveroad needs to work on her people's skills though, in Blaze's opinion. Amia and you agree that they are getting along way better now. Real trust is built on understanding, not on duty, she tells you. You should aim to achieve that with your operators. She believes that you can do it. You two deal with reunion people in the area so that those two can continue talking. Amia makes an observation. The reunion members here are scared beyond. What could be the reason for that? Something keeps attacking Crown Slayer and her men. They get completely destroyed. She does her best to avoid attacks, but it's no good. She gets captured. Project Red. Don't kill her, says Dr. Kalzit. Crown Slayer can't move a muscle. Red controls her. Then she sees Kalzit, the traitor, the one who sold out her father and all the other scientists together with Sergei. Kalzit recognizes Crown Slayer as Lyudmila, Ilya's daughter. She has no particular reaction to those accusations. She wants to know what Sergei said when she killed him. Did you know he was Alex's and Misha's father? She proudly confirms that Alex was the one to lead her to him. Kalzit orders Red to let her go. You will regret this, says Crown Slayer, and uses her arts, spawning a thick smoke out of her mouth. She wants to know why Director Kalzit betrayed her father. She replies that she only barely made it out herself. She remembers that Lyudmila never liked her. She also remembers that her father one day asked her whether they should just seal off the sarcophagus forever. He had the same fighting spirit as his daughter has now, but if you choose violence, you will one day meet someone stronger. Crown Slayer starts trash-talking her, and Kalzit just says, "Come, monster." And it came, grabbing Crown Slayer. She is not able to penetrate its skin. Kalzit explains that Ilya was her student and her friend, a fine researcher. She also says that Sergei sold out the other researchers because the authorities had his newborn kids. Those two, Misha and Alex, are now dead. He didn't save anyone. Kalzit wasn't able to save Ilya, she says, because she couldn't convince him to leave the institute. Crown Slayer asks whether everything her and her father did was for nothing. She denies that. He died and kept all the secrets of the sarcophagus. Crown Slayer, however, she killed a father who couldn't even protect his own children. Now you're in Lungmen. If you take over, what will happen to the uninfected here? Massacre? enslavement, exile, or infect them all? Is this how you want to build a nation and fight Ursus? Why come to Lungmen then? Is this how you want to terrify Ursus? How can you be more terrifying than Ursus? Red says that Crownslayer is scared and confused. She isn't taking this reality check too well. Kal'tsit ends this by saying that her leader is not a sane person. She is using her hatred. Run. Leave this place. Take a different path. If she truly wants to save the world, Kal'tsit says, she should find a different way. Monster drops her and Crownslayer gets out. Later, Kal'tsit says that she will awaken from this dream of revenge and then leave Reunion. Crownslayer may have blood on her hands, but if she truly was a murderer, she would have killed her on the spot. She tells Red, when you make a choice, there is no going back. Red understands. Kal'tsit calls her a good girl. They notice a drop in temperature. Kal'tsit wants the two to get more efficient. The Yetis and the Phantom Crossbowmen talk. Reunion's survivors and the infected of Lungmen have pretty much escaped. They are like a river of people in the Barren Lands. The Yetis ask the Crossbowmen to take Frostnova with them. She's asleep. They want them to take her to Patriot. The Yetis will cover that escape. They are okay with dying here. The Crossbowmen swear to protect her with their lives. They take protective gear to handle her cold body and start leaving. The Yetis tell their sister goodbye. Some of the Yetis cry, others are motivating themselves by reciting Frostnova's words. Don't cry before we have won. They all share a drink and mentally prepare themselves for never returning. One of them is sad that one cat with the hot body from Rhodes Island isn't drinking together with them. Chen and Amir are communicating. Chen says that the final battle has to be fought now. They have to continue fighting, otherwise their plan to push the Raincoats into the Yetis will become very unconvincing. Chen also says that she has to tell Amir something later. Amir tells you that she doesn't want to, but she will, together with you. Nine is walking with the huge group of Reunion and infected. She says that wherever they will go, she's going with them. The Reunion guy who invited her earlier says that he feels very bad for the Yetis. Soon after, Blaze finds those Yetis from earlier. Time for another flashback. Frostnova hears a voice. Wake up! Come, Adam! Bring warm water! She asks whether it's her dad who is saying that. The voice confirms it, and anything else she asks about, as long as she doesn't fall back asleep. She wants him to never leave again. Frostnova wakes up next to you in the substructures of the sub-city. She's happy that you didn't kill her, she won't kill you in return. Since you two won't be able to leave very soon, she starts talking. And she tells you her story. Her parents and her grandma were thrown into a mine by the Empire of Ursus. That's where she was born. Her family was killed by the overseers of the mines for their personal entertainment. It's also there where she got her oropathy, which is the reason for her body temperature. At some point, the Empire's new policies made mines like that unsustainable, so the overseers decided to kill all the people they threw into the mines. As the overseers were about to execute Frostnova and the others, her arts bursted out for the first time. She managed to kill 4 of those overseers, but that wasn't enough to save them. In the last second, before they were about to be executed, a band of guerrillas arrived. They were led by Bull-Drocker's T, the worst nightmare of every Ursus soldier. They saved her and the others. She asks you for a favor. There's candies in her pocket. She asks you to put one into her mouth. She would do it herself, but she can only move from the neck up. You do that and also take one yourself. It's insanely spicy and you think that it's horrible. Frostnova chuckles. She eats those candies, a mixture of spices and alcohol, because it's the only way for her to feel something. She used to love drinking hot drinks, but they would always burn her insides. She's just too cold. She continues talking. Bull-Drocker's T, or Patriot, as he gets called by his men, was an Ursus officer who left the army together with his unit. Back in the mines, he held her and gave her warmth. He didn't care that her cold temperature would give the unarmored parts of his body partial necrosis. And afterwards, he ended up becoming her father. She says that Patriot hates to see her fighting, especially her arts. He sees those as a curse. She coughs up blood. It's a result of her overusing her arts. You ask her to stop using her arts, but she says that that's not possible. She can't let you leave and hurt more of Reunion. You two talk about the Reunion movement. Back in the day, her and her father just wanted to protect the infected community. One day, after many years of fighting, a woman approached them, saying, "Come with us and let us break all chains." They didn't know what to make of her, but they fought side by side and became good friends. Together, they took the fight to the Ursus, and she helped her with making those candies. But it's different now. The people of Chernobog all ended up dying or getting infected. Now Reunion is in Lungmen. If what happened in Chernobog was her goal, Frostnova never would have followed her. She wonders whether she could defeat her. She thinks that she should be at least able to kill her. No matter what happens next, she will definitely go and confront her. She knows that she doesn't have much time left. She once made a promise to find a place for everyone, and she has to fulfill that promise. One more thing. One day, she says, if Rhodes Island will try to make a stand on the world stage, you will become the next Reunion. She starts moving her fingers. Her paralysis is getting better. Digging noises can be heard above you two. She thanks you for helping her pass the time. The red robes are standing around. They give Lungmen top marks for wiping out Reunion in a day. Suddenly, Blaze attacks them. One of them uses a wire to hold her off, for which she calls him a psychopath. Chen arrives, reminding the red robes that Blaze is one of her partners. They tell her to have some respect. They are just here to see how Lungmen deals with risks. The one guy apologizes to Blaze, telling her that she is very similar to her father, and leaves. You and Amia arrive. There is no trace of Mephisto or any other Reunion commander. Amia also scolds Blaze for her behavior just now, for which Blaze gives her a bunch of headpats. Kalzit gets to you. She asks you about how you feel, as she noticed that your emotional state is fluctuating, probably because of your deep interaction with Reunion in the sub-city. Anyway, she has something else to say. Lungmen will not continue fighting in that conflict once Reunion has left the city. Rhodes Island has to do more. One more thing, she asks you to not look at her like that. You and her don't need trust, no matter what Amia might have said. I know you too well to trust you. Just like you never trusted me in the old days. Speaking of which, back in the sub-city, the Yeti squad gets accused of treason by the other Reunion forces present, which are about 100 times their size. Rhodes Island and the Yetis defeat those Reunion guys in a combined effort so that they won't interfere with the rescue operation. Amia and Blaze discuss over what will happen next. Right now, this is a difficult situation. They don't know how Frostnova will react once they reach her and you. They hope to reach you two first so that they can trade Frostnova for the Yeti squad's cooperation. After 3 hours of excavating, Amia's fingers are bleeding. She has been digging for you with her hands. She refuses to use tools to dig. She says that only this way she feels the tiny whispers which tell her where to dig. And soon after that, both the Yetis and Rhodes Island reach you two. Amia's rings turn red. You tell her to stop. The Yetis explain to Frostnova that your two groups have been cooperating. She says that if your groups aren't enemies, then there isn't a reason to fight. She directly addresses Amia. She tells her that soon, in Lungmen, they will be enemies. Amia makes an effort to explain to Frostnova that she understands her and her people. She wants to avoid unnecessary bloodshed. And at the very least, she doesn't want to fight the Yeti squad. Frostnova says that the only way for that to happen is if they never see each other again. If she has to, she will kill all of us. You tell her that she could just come to Rhodes Island. She says the following: defeat me in battle and I will consider it. As Amia gets sad, she gets ready to leave. Before that though, she gives Frostleaf a mixture which will relieve the damage and the pain of the frostbite she caused for her. Blaze also has something to say. She lets the Yetis know that when they meet for the next time, she wants to have a drink with them. Frostnova chuckles. She hopes that she will never have to see you again. Way later, in the substructures of Lungmen, you, Amir, Blaze and Graveroad see her again. Blaze analyzes the arts she uses. Those crystals around her have to cause her massive pain. She pleads her to stop. This is Amir's expression. Blaze thinks that Amir is trying to reach into her mind, but no, even without using her arts, Frostnova's emotions all just pour into her mind. Frostnova says that back then she wasn't able to use her arts to the fullest because she didn't want to endanger her brothers and sisters. But now, they are all dead. There's nothing holding her back. Everything freezes. Amir knows why Frostnova is able to endure the pain of the crystals, because the pain inside of her is way worse. You personally stand up to Frostnova, once again telling her to join Rhodes Island, because you will fight side by side with your operators. She once again says that if you defeat her, she will join you and fight for the infected in your way. She starts to sink. It gets even colder. You fight. The coldness begins to disappear. Frostnova compliments you for winning. Her brothers and sisters all died for nothing in the end. She tells you to go and save the people you can save, be it by killing Mephisto, stopping the raincoats, or sheltering the infected who have no place to go. Her death is not worth your time. You ask Amir to go so that you can stay with Frostnova. You hold her. She says that Amir is very similar to how Tallulah was back in the day. You remind her of her promise to join Rhodes Island. She says that villains like her don't deserve to be with Rhodes Island. She talks about the Yetis. She wanted to keep them alive, but they all died protecting her, who didn't even have a lot of time to begin with. She is not happy. She misses Ursus. They never should have come to Lungmen. She asks you something. She wants you to go and stop Tallulah, so that reunion won't swallow up even more infected. And then she redacts that. She wants you to go and save her and the countless infected with her. The real one, walking on muddy earth. Tallulah. Her fingers grope your face. They are warm. Your face is colder than her fingers. She is happy that she can finally touch someone before she dies. You tell her that Amir and you want her to join Rhodes Island. She closes her eyes. Tell her, Doctor, in this world, a single person is worthless. But she is absolutely not alone. From now on, I am at your side. Both of you. I would like to join Rhodes Island. And after a while, let me go. My brothers and sisters are waiting for me. Father, I've been such a fool. Forgive me. And with that, she passes away in your arms. Operation Defend Lungmen is announced as completed. Chen is trying to get to the sewers. Swire is trying her absolute best to prevent her from doing that. They were both told not to check on the sewers. In the end, Chen threatens Swire with her sword, and Swire lets her pass. As she gets close to the sewers, she notices a weird smell, and as she actually gets to the sewers, she is at an absolute loss for words. You are carrying Frostnova towards the Rhodes Island landship. When an LGD member asks you who that is and what happened, you say, an infected person died. Amiya barges through Chief Vei's tower. She runs into the Red Robes, who officially get called Censors by the way, but continues and gets to Vei's office. Vei is happy to see her. He speaks about the war being successful and about how Lungmen will now fulfill its obligations to Rhodes Island. But no, Amiya is here to cancel the contract. A partnership with Lungmen does not fit Rhodes Island, and Lungmen does not need their help, she says. We have been pawns for Vei from the very beginning, but that's not the reason for the termination of the agreement. It's that Vei has also played the people of Lungmen, the slums, and the LGD. Amiya will not try to stop Lungmen's plans, but she can and will stop her operators from being a part of it. She wants Vei to know that people are people, not pawns. Chen barges in, shouting at Wei Yanwu. She asks whether it was him who did it. It has to be him, she says. She thought that by defeating Reunion, the people of the slums and the rest of the city could have come together, but she should have known better. How could he do such a thing? He didn't even take responsibility for it, as he tried to erase all traces. Wei says that he has no idea what she is saying. Suddenly she asks, "Did you kill Tallulah father? Did you force our mother to marry that cowardly man?" He tells her to watch her mouth and calls for his guards. Chen says that Tallulah told her that. Tallulah knew many things which others usually don't know. Wei is angry, she says, because Duke Kashche has been his nightmare for forever. And Wei never felt sorry for Tallulah even once. Wei wants her to calm down, but Chen says that she won't trust the old Duke, as he once almost destroyed Lungmen and kidnapped Tallulah. Chen says that she knows Tallulah and trusts her. Wei would sacrifice anything and everything for his plans. Wei actually gets angry, telling her that she knows nothing about what he did for Lungmen. It gets very, very heated between the two. Before anything happens, Kalzit enters and tells the two to stop talking. She asks Amiya to read something she sent to her terminal. Wei wants her to know who gave her permission to enter. Fumizuki did. She says that she has the same message as Kalzit. The message is, Tallulah wasn't in Lungmen, she stayed in Chernobog. And now, the core city of Chernobog is approaching Lungmen at rapid speed. In about 36 hours, the core will impact into Lungmen. Wei is not impressed. Lungmen has the means to destroy cities and warships, and definitely the means to destroy an urban core. But Kalzit says that it's not that easy. The core is spamming out an urban identification code, and the code claims this city belongs to Ursus. And what that means, you will learn it in the next episode. Thank you very much for watching. If you have watched until this point, then definitely subscribe if you haven't yet. And in the meantime, I am going to thank my insane channel supporters and operators and my astounding channel commanders. Ankoku, Ezreal, Carousel Eva, Chris, Daniel Henriquez, Demoboy125, Erwin Heckler, Eisel, Gabes on Frames, Heiligkeit, Longo, LWKY, Written, and Zephyrinix. Thanks a lot for your support, guys, and to you, thanks for watching. And I hope that I will see you next time. Cheers!